It all began on a cool school morning, during our Eco Club's forest expedition to Muatu Mkubwa, the Great Forest. The sunlight filtered through the thick green canopy like golden honey, and birds chirped in tongues only trees could interpret. Everything smelled like bark, wildflowers, and secrets. I bent to tie my shoelace beneath an ancient baobab, its trunk as wide as a water tank. That's when it happened. A vine, thick and coiled like a sleeping python, suddenly wrapped around my ankle. Before I could scream for help, I was yanked off my feet, tumbling down a mossy slope. My cries were swallowed by the trees. I landed with a splash in a puddle of shimmering mud. Around me, glowing mushrooms, each the size of cooking pots, lit the space like fairy lanterns, and fireflies blinked brighter than LED bulbs. As I stumbled up, wiping the mud from my eyes, I came face to face with a butterfly, African beautiful, female, with wings the size of a pillow, adorned in red and black patterns like a Maasai shuka. She fluttered silently, circling me thrice, then vanished into the bamboo. I followed the scent of roasted groundnuts past giant fern leaves and chirping bushes until I stumbled into a clearing, and there it was, Wagaluka. The hidden village. The homes were architectural wonders, banana bark walls rising like giraffes, topped with feathery rooftops from sky-blue parrots. The entire village seemed to sway slightly, like it breathed with the forest. A rhythmic clapping began. A crowd had gathered, villages tall as termite mounds, all smiling wide. From between them emerged their leader, Chief Babu Majumbi, African handsome, male, aged around 70, with a braided white beard so long it wrapped around his waist twice. He wore a golden cloak stitched with snail shells and perched proudly on a giant tortoise whose eyes sparkled with beads. "You are the chosen one," he said, his voice as deep as a ceremonial drum. "The forest never spits out what it wants to keep." I didn't know what to say. I mean, I once got lost in a supermarket for 3 hours. Chosen. Me. The Wagalukans were the quirkiest, most colorful people I'd ever met. Mama Majito, African beautiful, female, age around 60, was the tallest, standing 10 feet tall, always clad in flowing gowns made from live flower petals that changed color with her mood. Uncle Bishi, African handsome, male, wide as a water tank, walked with 2 chairs, one under each thigh. Even their pets were outlandish. Chombo, their cat the size of a sheep, refused to meow, he only hummed lullabies. Then there was Bebe, a chicken with rainbow feathers who laid boiled eggs and strutted around in green sandals. I kid you not. They called me, Geni Kubwa wa Forest, the great visitor of the forest, and gave me a role. I became Sikazaji wa Forest, the forest interpreter. My job, to listen. They believed the forest had feelings. When trees dropped purple fruits, it was bored. When the wind whistled thrice, it gossiped. And when ants marched in circles, the forest was calling for a celebration. They handed me a wooden staff, smooth and warm, glowing faintly, with a real chameleon perched on top. The chameleon, African handsome, male, glossy green with a spiky crest, changed color with the forest's emotions. Every day, I sat under the tree of whispers, a tree so ancient it had faces carved into its bark. I'd listen to rustles, cracks, and groans, then announce things like, "The forest wants spicy food today. The river is tired. No fishing till sundown. A squirrel has lost her child. All drums silent tonight." And they listened. But then, one moonless night, the Mkongo drum, the sacred drum of Wagaluka, began beating itself. The sky turned green. The wind howled like an old widow. The villagers panicked. Uncle Bishi fainted and was turned into a bench for safety. According to their ancient prophecy, when the drum beats itself, an outsider must unlock the forest's secret or all will crumble. Guess who the outsider was? Me. A girl who once thought a bat was a handbag. I was told to pass 3 tests to calm the forest. The first, a staring contest with King Zuberi, a silverback gorilla, African handsome, male, age bracket 50s, crowned with a wreath of living vines. His eyes locked mine. I blinked so fast, he thought I was possessed and surrendered. The second test led me up the mountain of laughter, Mlumani wa Kicheko, to retrieve the fruit of shining laughter. I journeyed with 2 companions. Pilo, a monkey, African handsome, male, aged 20s in monkey years, who wore a red fez and kept asking if I was single. And Cheesy, a goat, African beautiful, female, short and fluffy, who moonwalked when excited. We met a snake with gold earrings who told riddles, a tree that cracked jokes, and a choir of frogs that only sang when you complimented their thighs. To retrieve the fruit, I had to salsa dance in front of a beehive. I don't remember much, only that my hips hurt for 2 days and the bees gave me a standing ovation. When we returned, victorious, the villagers began wedding preparations. For me. To a tree. Yes. The tree of joy, an ancient acacia tree, African handsome, male, with bark carved into smiling faces and wrists adorned with wooden bangles. No offense, I told him, but I like my partners with fewer termites. To escape the wedding, I challenged the tree to a joke-off. My killer punchline. Why don't trees gossip? Because the 2 rooted in their ways. The tree laughed. The ground shook. And I was released. The next morning, I woke to find a new path, freshly cleared, lined with marula blossoms. The Wagalukans had prepared a farewell feast. Mango stew, boiled baobab roots, and butterfly wing pancakes. Please don't ask what they tasted like. Babu Mangimbi placed a leafy crown on my head. You are one of us now, he said. When the world becomes too noisy, the forest will call you home. I walked through the vines. And I was back. Back in the human world, muddy, tired, and full of stories no one believed. They said I'd had a sunstroke, or eaten wild berries. But sometimes, when I sit under a tree and the wind whispers in threes, when the ants circle my feet or the leaves clap softly, I know. The forest remembers. And so do I.